All right, good afternoon, craps fans. This is Scott from Paradise Craps. Welcome back. All right, so IPTV Club was saying that he really believes the playing it on the DC, playing the Baccarat. It's not really playing the Baccarat then. You're basically just laddering the DC. I don't think he was doing a come DC, come, don't come progression. I think he was just on the don't come, but he was using the Dr. S's two-step. Instead of a single rung on the ladder, he was going up by two. And then he also said 3 knockoffs per shooter, and you wait out for the next shooter. So I don't know. I'm going to try it just to see what it looks like. I was doing it on wind craps and it wasn't looking too good, but I also wasn't really keeping track of the number of shooters. So I'm going to try it and keep better track of the number of shooters or where I'm at for shooters, and then see how that ends up looking. All right. All right, so we got 400 there, we got 500 here. And we got 100 here. So $1,000 bankroll. All right, so I like the DC, but I just keep knocking myself off, and that's the thing with the DC pony that didn't work for me, was I just consistently knock myself off, and when it gets into higher denominations, that's pretty devastating and not recoverable. All right, so I'm just going to roll this out and see how it looks. Try it on for size, if you will. I'm sure this is similar to other stuff that we've done, but the two-step is different, and the basic laddering is not any different. I mean, that we've certainly done. So, all right, let's see. Let's see how it looks. 516, point is 6. All right, I'm still going to do it at the $10 level for my $1,000 bankroll. All right, so now we got a DC for 10 bucks. And we got a 7, so that's going to be a loser on the DC right away. And we're off the 6. All right, here we go, coming out. And we got a 2 craps, nothing. Still coming out. 7, nothing. Still coming out. 7, nothing. Still coming out. All right, so that's going to be level 2 when we go out this time. And we got a 516. All right, same as it was. All right, so now we're going to do a 2 unit. Actually, he's going to say 3 unit DC, right? Because we're going to go up by 2 units to follow the Dr. S 2-step. Hey, Red Eye, good afternoon. All right, so let's do that. So now we got 3 units, so that's level 2. And on the DC, here we go. 7, fuck. What is it with me? I don't understand. I cannot win with these stupid DCs. 7 out. All right, so now I have to go to level 3, which is 50. I'm just going to go level 5, which is 50 bucks. This is freaking crazy stupid. I just cannot win with a DC. 6, 4, 10. All right, we're on a 10, so now I got to go 50, up another 2 units on a DC. We haven't even gotten out once. All right, so now we got a 6. So our DC is going to move behind the 6. And that's it. Now we're just looking for a 7. Now we got a 12. And we got a 10, point hit. All right, well, at least we didn't lose the 6 on that one. Here we go. Hey, BAM. What's going on? 639, point is 9. Looking for 7. Nope, we got a 6. So I just knocked myself off. So that was, is that 3 losses on this one shooter? No, because they 7'd out. So this is a new shooter. So they 7'd out. We got a new shooter. I had to go 5 units. So now I got to go 7 units. And I guess I'm going to go back out again since I knocked myself off. But this is the problem I had with the DC. It's just knocking myself off right and left. And just can't recover. 6, 4, 10. All right, at least that's a better number for us. So that $70 DC is going to move to the 10. Now we're looking for a 7. And we got a 10. Look at that. Can you frickin' believe that? That is unbelievable. But that's exactly what I see when I play this stupid DC. Unbelievable. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I do not like the DC. This is frickin', this is not fun. I'm sorry. IPTV swears that, you know, he ran out that last session where I lost 910 yesterday, and he was able to make a lot of money on the DC. But I just have not had any luck with this DC, and I just, you know, it's like, you know, I'm punishing myself here. All right, so was that 2 knockoffs on the DC? So we got one more knockoff on this shooter. And we got a 516. All right, so that's going to move behind the 6. This will be it. That we already had 2 knockoffs. We got a 10. And we got an 8. And we got a 5. And we got a 5. And we got a 5. Hey, caramba. And we got a 7 out. All right, so we got off of that one okay. We're going to have a new shooter, so we're going to reset our losing streak. All right, so that's going to pay us 90. All right, and that's all going to come down. So that would basically come down and get paid. All right, so now we got a new shooter, and we're going to go back out for 7 units on this one. Here we go. And we got a 6, 4, 10. Point is 10. All right, so we're on the 10. 50, 60, 70 on the DC, 7 units. And we got a yo 11, so that's going to be a loser on the DC, right? Yep. So that's 1 loss on this shooter. Now we have to go back out for 9 units. And we got a 10. So we're going to replace the puck with our DC on the 10 for 9 units. All right, so we got same shooter coming out. And now they're on the 5. All right, same shooter. What we have 1 loss on this shooter. 2 losses? All right, there's our 527. So that was successful. All right, so we're going to get 9 units again. Actually, that's going to come down and get paid 9 units. Or do they do? No, they do it off to the side, right? They do it over here. 9 units. All right. All right, so now we got a new shooter, and we're out for 7 units. Here we go, coming out. And we got a 3, that's a nothing burger. And we got a 6, 426. All right, let's see where we're at here, just so I can gauge how we're doing. All right, so we got 75 there. Looks like we got... We're down 25 there, so we're down 50 bucks. All right, so they're on the 6, and we're going out for 70 on the DC again. Laddering down by 2. Laddering up by 2 and down by 2. All right, and we got a 7, so that's going to be a freaking double loser. So they're off the 6, and we're off the DC. I don't know, man. This DC stuff really freaking sucks. I don't know why people embrace the DC. 617. Not seeing it. I'm definitely not seeing it. 6-5. Yo. All right, and that was 9. That was 7. I don't remember what I just lost. 314. All right, so point is 4. Now we got to go back out. I got 9 on here, so I'm going to do 9. $90 on the DC. All right. And we got a 9. 639. All right, so that's going to move behind the 9 for 9 units. Looking for a 7. We got a 6. We got a 7. All right, so that's going to pay us. So they're off the 4. And that's going to go over here, and we'll get paid 9 units. All right, and then we're going to go back down for 7 units. All right, so that's going to go there. That's going to go there. All right. Hey, Arizona Crapshooters. How's it going, Anthony? All right, so now we're back down to 7 units. We got a new shooter coming out. We got a 649. New shooters on the 9. All right, 7 units on the DC. Here we go. 314. That's going to move behind the 4. That's a good number for the DC. Let's see if we can get a 7 now. We got a 6. 42. We got a 7. There we go. All right, so that's going to come off the 9. This is going to move over here and get paid 7 units. All right, so there's 70 bucks. All right, so now we would go down to 5 units. Let's see where we're at monetarily here. All right, so we're still down 10 bucks there, but we're up 50 bucks. So we're up 40 bucks, but 5 units is where we're at. So we'll stay with 5 units on the Don't Come. All right, 516. New shooter, point is 6. All right, so we're going to go 5 units, which is a little more than our profit right now, on the Don't Come. Here we go. 325. All right, so the Don't Come's going to move behind the 5. So now we're looking for a 7 before a 5. There it is, 61. All right, so that's off the 6. That's going to move over there and get paid 5 units. All right, so now we're up. Let me get some nickels here. All right, so we're up 80. We're up 90 bucks already. So now I think we would just go all the way back down to level 1. I'm pretty sure. Hey, Waylon, what's going on? So this IPTV was telling me that he rolled out the same rolls I did yesterday on the second session where I torched my bankroll for, basically torched the bankroll. And he was saying if I did it on the DC with a two-step ladder, that it would have been successful yesterday by quite a bit. So I'm just trying to do the DC with a two-step and only taking 3 losses from any one shooter. So laddering up, laddering back down. But if I get knocked off 3 times, whether it's on the come out for the DC or 2 points hit or 3 points hit, and you know what I mean. Basically 3 losses with any one shooter. Then I sit out. I still ladder up for the next shooter, but I wait for the next shooter. So that's what we're doing. All right. Does that make sense? Did I explain it well enough? Yeah, how is that possible? I understand BAM. I think it's the two-step. So you're stepping up faster, which means you're putting more at risk, but you're recovering faster. I think that's the whole premise of the two-step. You only go 2 losses per shooter? Yeah, I like that better than 3 losses. I'm just having a hard time keeping track of, the new shooter and then, how many losses they've actually had. All right, so let's do it again. So here we go. We got a new shooter coming out. And we got a 6. So this shooter is going to be on the 6. All right, we're going to go back to level 1, which is $10 base unit. All right, and we are coming out on the DC, but we just lost that DC. So now we are off the 6, and we lost our $10. So we got a new shooter, and we're going to go up to 3 units now. So we got a new shooter coming out. So we had 1 loss on that other shooter. 415. 5 is the point. All right, so now we're going to go $30 on the DC. And we got a Yo 11. That's going to be a loser. So that's 1 loser on this shooter for an 11. Now we got to go up to level 5 on the DC. All right, and now we got a 10, so that's a better number for us. All right, so the DC is going to move behind the 10. All right, so now we're looking for a 7. And we got a 6. And we got a 9. And we got a 7 out. There we go, 61. All right, so we're off the 5. And the DC is going to come down and get paid. All right, now go back in our rack. All right, so we got a new shooter, and now we are back at level 1, I guess. And we're up $100. I don't remember what we were up before, but here we go. New shooter. We got a Yo 11, it's a nothing. And we got a 7, that's a nothing burger. For us, we got no line bets. And we got a 4. Point is 4. All right, so we got a new shooter on the 4, and we're going back to level 1, which is $10. So we got $10 on the DC. Here we go. And we got a 6. All right, so we're going to go behind the 6 with our DC, and we're looking for a 7. And we got a 7. All right, so that's going to be a winner. So the 4 is off. We got a new shooter, and the DC is going to come down and get paid 1 unit. All right. All right, so we're still at level 1. New shooter coming out, and we got an 8. Point is 8. So again, we're going to go 1 unit on the DC. And we got a 10. All right, hard 10. So DC is going to move to the 10. Now we're looking for a 7. And we got a 5. And we got a 7. All right. So we're off the 8. And the DC is going to come down and get paid 1 to 1. And back in our rack. All right. So we got a new shooter coming out. Here we go. 628. Point is 8. All right, so now we're going to go 1 unit on the DC. And we got a 9, 639. All right, so that's going to move behind the 9. Now we're looking for a 7. Clicky clack 9. All right, so we're going to lose that. So that's 1 loss on this shooter. Now we got to go up 2 units. So we're going to go back out for another DC for 3 units. And we got an 8. That's a point hit. All right, so the DC is going to move behind the 8. We're off. Same shooter coming out. 617. All right, so that's perfect for us because we don't have to do anything and we're just going to get paid. So that's our 3 units. And now we'll go ahead and ladder back down to 1 unit. Once they actually come out. All right, here we go. And we got a 9, 639. All right, so this shooter point is 9. Going to go back to 1 unit on the DC coming out. And we got a 10. So the DC is going to move behind the 10 for 1 unit. Now we're looking for a 7. And we got a 9, neener, so that's a point hit. This shooter's hot, that's our second point. And they are coming out. 527, another winner for us. All right, so that's going to pay us, DC is going to come down and get paid 1 unit. And we're going to rack that. And they're still coming out. 10, hard 10. All right, they're on the 10, so we're going to go back out for 1 unit on the DC. And we got a 4. Well, we started out rough, but we're getting good numbers now. All right, looking for a 10. We got an 8, 628. Sorry, looking for a 7, not a 10. 628. 415. Aces. 8, square pair. 3. 6. Looking for that 7. 4. That looks like a point. Well, not a point hit because the point's 10, but that's going to knock us off for 1 unit. All right, so for this shooter, I think that was, see, and that's the thing, is keeping track of how many losses for this shooter. I think that's the second loss for this shooter. All right, so now we're going to go to 30 bucks, 3 units on the don't come, because we're raising it, going up by 2 units. And there's a 617, so that's going to be a loser. So now we're going to have to go up to 5 units. So the 10, off the 10, we got a new shooter, and it's going to be 5 units. Here we go. And we got a box cars, that's a nothing burger. And we got a 7, that's a nothing burger. Not playing the line. And we got an 8. Point is 8. All right, so we're on to 8. So now we got 5 units on the DC coming out. And we got a 7. That's going to be a loser on the DC. Lovely, lovely, lovely. All right, so now we're going to have to go out for 7 units. 9, neener. Point is 9. All right, so we got a new shooter, and now we got to go 7 units. So back into our bankroll on the DC. Here we go. And we got another 7 out, PSO. So Scott the PSO King is back. All right, so that's 7 units. New shooter, 9 units. And we got an 8. All right. 9 units on the DC. And we got a 6. All right, so the DC is going to move behind the 6 for 9 units. And we got an 8, so that's going to be a point hit. Same shooter coming out. And we got a 9. So new point for the same shooter is a 9. And we got a yo 11. And we got a 5. And we got a 5. Oop. We got a 3. Clicky clack 7, but we'll take it. All right, so we got a new shooter coming out, and this is going to come down and get paid 90. 90. All right, and then we're going to ladder that back down to 70 for the next shooter. All right, coming out. 5. New shooter, point is 5. $70 on the DC. Looking for a DC point. Nope, 7. PSO on the 5. All right, that seems to be my MO. All right, so now we're going to have to go 9 units again. New shooter, come out 7. 6, point is 6. All right, so we got a new shooter, point is 6. Now we got to go $90 again, 9 units. Here we go, looking for a DC. 9, point is 9. Oh, sorry, the DC is 9. We're going to move behind the 9. All right, here we go. Looking for big red. 437 out. All right, so we're going to get a new shooter. DC is going to come down and get paid 90. And we're going to go back down to 70. All right, so what do we got going on here? All right, so we're off there. Here we go. And it's going to be 70 now. 617, all right, so it's a nothing burger. 415, point is 5. All right, so we're on the 5. We're going to do 7 units on the DC. 10, all right, so the DC is going to move behind the 10. And we got a 3. Looking for a 7. And we got a 5, so that's a point hit. Same shooter coming out. Yo 11. 7, come out 7, so that's a winner for us. So the DC is going to come down and get paid. That's 70. Alright, so now we're going to ladder back down to 50 because we're doing it in units of 2. Alright, so that's full. So we're already back up 150, 60, 70 bucks. Alright, we got a new shooter. We got a 516. Alright, and we're going to be at level 5. Now I think because we're in profit, we could just go all the way back down to base, and we probably should, rather than put 5 units at risk. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to go back down to base. $10 on the DC. Here we go. No reason to put more at risk than we need to. Alright, 6. So that's going to be a point hit. DC is going to move behind the 6, and we're coming out. Same shooter. 7. Come out 7. That's going to be a winner for us. So that's going to, DC is going to come down and get paid. 1 unit. Back in our rack. Here we go. New same shooter coming out. 516. All right, that shooter's on 6, and we're going to go back out for 1 unit on the DC. 6. All right, so DC is going to move behind the 6. We got the same shooter, hot shooter, keeps hitting the same point. Coming out. 628 this time. All right. And we got a 639. And we got a 437 out. All right, so DC is going to come down. And we're going to get paid 1-to-1 on that. All right, so let's see. We got 2, 4, 5. All right, so we got 100, 175, 185, 190 right now. Damn. Well, am I doing it right? Yeah, I agree. I think it's this, the 2-step, the Dr. S 2-step that's doing it. The 2-step ladder? I don't know. Am I screwing up? Am I doing something wrong? I don't know. Am I deluding myself here? Because damn, that's damn pretty impressive right there. 100, 2, 3, 4, 5, 600 plus my 4. And I got 100, 175, 190. Shit. Yeah, up and down at that 2-step. I mean, you're putting more at risk. So the base unit is $10, right? And I'm just starting with the $10, and then if I lose, I'm going up by 2 units. So the next level is $30, and then $50, $70, $90, and I'm coming back down. And that's what IPTV said was, you know, you don't have to ladder all the way back down. You only have to ladder down a couple of levels, and you're already back in profit, which kind of is working out that way. All right, so we got a new shooter. Here we go, coming out. Easy doocy. No line bets, so we're just waiting to establish a point. 415. All right, so now we're going to go back out for 1 unit on the DC. And we got a 6-4-10. DC is going to move behind the 10. And we got a 6. 4-2-6. And we got a 5-point hit. Same shooter coming out. And so here's where you take advantage of your come out 7s right there. All right, because we're getting paid on those. All right, DC is going to come down, get paid 1 unit. Back in our rack. Same shooter coming out, 6-2-8. All right, on the 8, going back out for 1 unit on the DC. 6-1-7. All right, so we're going to lose the shooters coming off. We're going to get a new shooter. We're going to lose our DC for 1 unit. So now we have to go back out for 3 units on this next shooter. Here we go. 4-1-5. New shooter, point is 5. All right, so we don't have any losses with this shooter. Here we go. DC number is a 9. All right. DC is going to move behind the 9. Now we're looking for big red. We got a 4. Little Joe from Kokomo. We got a 10, 64. And we got a 5. That's a point hit. So same shooter coming out. We got a 4. So the new point is 4. We're looking for a 7. We got a 7, 61. All right, so we're off the 4. Our 3 units is going to come down. DC for 3 units is going to get paid 3 units. And back in our rack. All right, so now we go back to 1 unit. Let's see what we got here. 100, 200, 10, 20 bucks. 220 bucks right now in our profit side. All right, here we go. 4. I don't know if I'm doing this right. I think I am, but I don't know. You know, when I try something new, I generally screw it up at some point. All right, so 1 unit on the DC. Here we go. And we got a 10, 6-4-10. I mean, because I've been getting knocked off pretty bad. I agree, BAM. This doesn't seem right. All right, and now we're looking for big red again. We got a 6-4-10. All right, so we got knocked off, so that's 1 loss on this shooter. And that's now we're going to go to level 2, which is level 3 on the DC. We have 1 loss on this shooter. We're trying to establish a new DC, and we did it behind the 5. All right, and now we're looking for big red. We got a 10. And we got an 8. We got a yo. We got a 6. We got a boxcar, midnight. We got a 5, so that's a point hit, or not a point hit, but that's a knockoff. All right, so that's a second loss. So now we're going to go up to $50 on the DC. So that was 2 losses on this shooter. This will be a third, and we got a 6 on that one. All right, oop. So the DC is going to move behind the 6. All right, looking for big red still. Nope, we got a 6. All right, so that was our 3rd loss on this shooter. Knocked ourselves off. So next shooter will go up to 7 units. And we got a yo. All right. Looking for a 4 or a 7. Actually, we need a 7. There's a 7. All right. So this shooter's done. And we got a new shooter coming out. And we got a 7, so we got nothing there. And we got an 8. All right, point is 8. All right, so now we're going to go $70 on this DC, 7 units. All right, looking for a DC number. We got a 6. All right, DC is going to move behind a 6. 7 units. There's our 7 out, 61. All right, so we're off the 8. Got a new shooter. The DC is going to come down and get paid for 7 units. All right, and then we're going to ladder back down to 5 units. Right, 5 units on the next shooter. Here we go. And we got a 6. I mean, I don't know if you need to ladder back down. You're still well in profit here, but we will. All right, 5 units on the DC, and we got a 6. All right, so we're going to knock off the puck. DC is going to move behind the 6. Same shooter coming out. And we got a 7. There you go. I love that part of it. All right, come out 7. That's going to pay. All right, so the DC is going to come down and get paid. There we go. And now we go back down. I think we go all the way back down at that point because we got 100, 200, 225, 250 already. 100, 200, 25, and 25. So we're at 250. So I would say I would go all the way back down to level 1. Yeah, 10, 30, 50, 70, 90. I don't know. What am I doing wrong? All right, so you got 250 there, 90, 160, 210, 240, 250, right? And then if you win at 90 and you win at 70, that's only 160. So you'd have to go down to 50, which would give you 210. And really you have to go down to 40, right? 30 to get you 240. Yeah, hey IPTV, $250 profit. Yeah, I don't know if I'm doing it right. IPTV says I'm doing it right. Because like BAM says, the math kind of doesn't work out. I mean, we don't understand how, just going up by those 2 units is getting us back into a session high. But yeah, 250, that's impressive right there. I mean, I'd be pretty darn happy with 250 on that $1,000 bankroll. $100, $200, $250, and then we still got our 100 here, we got our 500 there, and our 400 there. Anthony says, by the way, Waylon, all right, you're talking about something else. Okay, so 39 minutes, so 40 minutes. I don't know, and obviously I'm throwing a lot more rolls than you would see at a regular table, but all right, let's try it again. You guys keep me honest, please. I'll make sure I'm doing this right. I mean, I was getting my ass handed to me there several times, IPTV. I thought for sure this was going south, because it was going south, but I did not anticipate the recovery. I'm kind of like BAM. I'm kind of like, what the heck is going on? All right, so we got a new shooter coming out. We got our $1,000 bankroll here. We're at level 1. Here we go. 628. All right, so this new shooter point is 8. We're going to start with a $10 DC. Here we go. And we got a 6. All right, so the DC is going to move behind the 6. Looking for a 7. Got an 8. That's a point hit, so same shooter hit their point, and they're coming out. Here we go. And we got a 617. There we go. So we're going to get paid. Our DC is going to come down and get paid 1-to-1. Back in our rack. All right, same shooter still coming out. Still coming out. 527 again, come out 7. 426. Point is 6. All right, so we're going to do another $10 DC, level 1. Here we go. And we got a 3, so that's going to be a winner on a DC. So we'll get paid 1 unit for that. Here we go. And we got a 4. All right, so the DC is going to move behind the 4 for 1 unit. Now we're looking for a 7. We got a 4, so we got knocked off our DC. All right, so that was 1 loss on this shooter, and now we're going to go up to level 3 or level 2, but it's $30. All right, here we go. And we got a 5, fever. So the new DC is going to move behind the 5. Looking for a 7. We got a 4. We got a 6, so that's a point hit. Same shooter hits 2 points now. All right, and they are same shooter coming out. 527. There we go. Come out winner. All right, so that DC is going to come down and get paid. 3 units. All right, and that's going to go back in our rack. All right, so right there, stop and look at this now. So we got 100, we got all of it there. So we lost the 10, and then we made the 30 back. So we made 20 bucks more, right, on that one. All right, back to level 1. Your unit is based on your starting bet, but yes, $10 base with an up and down of 20. Yep. All right, here we go. So we got new shooter coming out. 549. So our loss rate to this shooter is 0 at this point. All right, so now we're going to go back down to base unit, which is $10 on the don't come. Here we go. And we got a 7, so that's going to be a loser on the don't come, and we got a new shooter coming out. So we are going to ladder up, but we don't have any losses because we have a new shooter coming out. All right, here we go. So we're going to go to level 2, which is 3 units. Boxcars, all right, so that's a nothing. 2, that's a nothing. And we got a 7. Oh my goodness. Lots of come out winners for the line. Another 7. And we got a 4. All right, so this new shooter point is 4. We're going to do $30 don't come. And we got a 6. So that DC is going to move behind the 6. And let's see if we can get a 7. And we got a 4. All right, so the shooter got their point. So same shooter coming out. 6-5 yo. 549. All right. So the new point is 9. Had no losses with this particular shooter. That was from the last one. 538. 325. Looking for big red. 426. All right, so that is going to be 1 loss with this shooter. And now we're going to go to level 5 on the don't come. Here we go. Boxcars. That's going to be a push on the DC. 8. 628. All right. So that 50 is going to move behind the 8. Looking for a 7. We got a 9 point hit. All right, so we've had one loss with this shooter. And we got a 7 out, so it's going to be a winner for us. Come out 7, I should say. Come out 7. So the DC is going to come down, get paid. And then that's going to go back in our rack. All right, so now we go back to level 3, I guess. Or level 2, which would be 3 units. All right, so same shooter still coming out. 516. I don't know, IPTV, do we go, since we're in profit, do we go back to level 3 or do we go all the way back down to level 1? Do I just go down to level 2, which is 3 units, or do I go all the way back to 1? Level 1? All right. Since I'm in profit, I just don't know if I'm at a session high or not. All right, so here we go. 1 unit on the DC. 314. All right, so that's a good number on the DC. We're going to move behind the 4, looking for big red now. 325. 617. All right, so we got a new shooter, and the DC is going to come down and get paid. All right, here we go. New shooter coming out. 10, hard 10. All right, so we got a point of 10. New shooter, so we don't have any losses. Oh, shit. 1 unit on the DC, and that's going to be a 10 as well. All right, so the DC is going to move behind the 10. The puck's going to come off. The shooter hit his point. And the same shooter's coming out. And they got a 7, come out 7. So that's going to be, DC's going to come down and get paid. 1 unit. Back in the rack. All right, same shooter coming out. 6, 516. All right, so they're on the 6. We got a 1 unit DC. 6-5 yo, that's going to be a loser on the DC. All right, so now we got, for this shooter, we've had 1 loss. And we got to go back out for 30. And we got a 9 this time, 639. All right, so the DC is going to move behind the 9. Looking for big red. We got a 6, point hit. All right, so we got same shooter. 1 loss on this shooter. 437, come out 7. All right, so that DC is going to come down and get paid. And that's going to go back in the rack. All right. And now we're going to go back to level 1. And this is the same shooter we have 1 loss against, still coming out. 639. All right, so we're on the 9, and we're going to do another $10 DC, 1 unit. And we got a 3, so that's going to be a winner on the DC. All right. And we got a box cars, that's going to be a push on the DC. And we got an 8. All right, so the DC is going to move behind the 8. We got 1 loss on this shooter. And we got a 6, 5-1. And we got a 4, 1, 5. And we got a box cars. And we got an 8. All right, so we're going to get knocked off. So that's our second loss with this shooter. So now we're going to go back to level 2, which is 3 units. And we got a yo 11, so that's going to be a loser. And we're done with this shooter. All right, so that was 3 units, and we're just going to roll this one out. We got 5 units on the next shooter. 639, point hit. All right, well, we're not going to play this shooter at all, I guess. So it's going to roll this one out. Box cars. We're looking for a 7, I guess. 6, 4, 10. Point is 10. All right. So now we're looking for a 7. 415. 8. 617. All right, so we knocked off of that. All right, so we got a new shooter coming out, and we're going to go level 3, which is 5 units. 9. All right, so we got a 9. We're going to go 5 units on the DC. Here we go. And we got a 7. That's going to be a loser on the DC. All right, so now we got to go 7 units on the DC. Back into our bankroll here. And we got a 4. So that's going to move behind the 4. And we got a 7. That's not a PSO, but it's a 7 out. All right, so we got a new shooter. And that 7 units is going to come down. The DC is going to come down and get paid. And now we're going to go back down to 5 units for the next shooter. All right, let me restock my bankroll here so I can see where I'm at. And we're up 50, 60, 70, 80 bucks. So if I'm up 80 bucks, do I want to do level 5 or just go all the way back down to level 1? Oh, a win. Hold on. So a win on the shooter resets the loss per shooter. I don't understand that. Go down to level 2. So I'm going to go down. I was on level 7, which is level 3. All right, so I'm going to go down to level 2. No, I'm going to go to level 3 because level 2 is 33 units, right? So why would I go from level 5, which is where I was, because level 4 is 5 units, level 3 is 3 units, this is level 3, level 2 would be, yeah, that's confusing. Yeah, I know what level 2 is, 30 bucks, yeah. All right. I'm trying to understand the logic, because we were at 7 units, right? So that's level 5. And then level 4 would be 5 units. No, so we were at level 4 at 7 units. Then level 3 is 5 units. Level 2 is 3 units. So we're dropping down by 2. Yeah, that's it. I don't know where my profit was. I mean, we're up, what did I say, 90 bucks? So we're up pretty good profit. So I'm just not sure whether I'd go all the way back to base. Probably go all the way back to base. I don't know because we got 50, 60, 70, 80 bucks right now. But it just seemed weird to go all the way from level 4 to level 1. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Just drop back down to base. Again, it's all about bankroll preservation, right? All right, here we go. Coming out. So we got a new shooter coming out, and they got a 2 crap, so they're still coming out. And now they got a 4. All right, so they're on the 4. We're dropping back down to base on the DC 1 unit. And we got a 5, so the DC is going to move behind the 5. Now we're looking for a 7. We got a Yo 11 there. And we got a 3. And we got a Yo 11 again. All right, so we got a new... You need to explain the reset thing again, because I didn't understand that. Boxcars. So if I have one shooter where I've had 3 losses on it, and they get a come out 7 on their next roll, so they hit their point, I'm done, right? And I'm waiting. They hit their point, they come off. If they get a come out 7, does that reset all the losses against that shooter? Is it the 7 that's the trigger? 617. All right, there we go. So we got a new shooter, and our DC is going to come down and get paid. All right, let me color up here. All All right, so we got 75, 85, 90 bucks. No, okay, explain it to me then. Scott, what I mean is that when you had the hot shooter and you lost one, but then you went back out and hit a craps number, you can reset the 3 losses per shooter back to 0. Oh, I gotta see that again. You had the hot shooter and you lost one, but you went back out and hit a craps number. I don't understand that. I only lost one, but I had 3 losses. And I'm just going back out unless I have 3 losses. And yeah, I'm still not getting the whole reset thing. A win on a DC in the middle of a roll resets the clock. Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, got it. So on the come out for the DC. All right, that makes it a little bit easier to keep track of. All right, so again, we're at 1 unit. We got a new shooter coming out. 426, point is 6. All right, so 1 unit on the DC, and we got a 628. All right, so the DC is going to move behind the 8. Now we're looking for a 7. We got a new shooter, so we got no losses, but we just knocked ourselves off the 8. So now we have 1 loss, so we're going to go to level 2, which is 3 units. Here we go. 516. All right, so now we knocked the puck off. So this shooter hit their point, and now we are coming out, same shooter. 6410. All right, so we have 1 loss with this shooter. The shooter's on the 10. And we got an 8. And we got a yo. And we got a 6. All right, so we knocked ourselves off twice with this shooter. So now we go to level 3, which is 50 units, 5 units. Here we go. And we got a 7, so that's going to be a loser for everybody. All right, so we got a new shooter. We're going to lose 5 units. And now we're going to go to level 4, which is 7 units, but we got a new shooter, so we don't have any losses against this shooter. 628. All right, point is 8, so we have no profit right now. We are break even, and we're going to go 7 units on the DC, and we got a 5. All right, so the DC is going to move behind the 5. And we got a 9. And we got an 8, so that's a point hit. So same shooter is coming out. And they got a 5, so they knocked us off. All right, so that was 7. So now we got to go to level 5, which is 9 units. So that was our first knockoff with this shooter, I think. All right, 9 units. Here we go. And we got an 8. All right, so that's going to move behind the 8. Looking for big red. We got a 7. There we go. All right, so we got a new shooter. And this DC is going to come down, and that's going to get paid, what is that? 90 bucks. All right. And that's all going to go back in the rack. That's going to go back over there. That goes back over there. All right, so we're down and we're up 20 bucks. All right, so now we're going to go back to level 7. We got a new shooter, level whatever that is, level 4, 5, 4, I think, right? 6, 4, 10. We got a new shooter. Point is 10. All right, so now we're going to go 7 units on the DC. And we got a 4. So that 7 units is going to move behind the 4. Now we're looking for big red. There it is, 61. All right, so we're off the 10. DC is going to come down and get paid. 70 bucks. And that's all going to go back in the rack. All right, so now we're up 75, 80, 90 bucks. Damn, that's fast. So we got 100 still here, and we got our 500 here, plus our 4 that we haven't come close to touching yet. All right, so we're up 90 bucks. I'm going all the way back down to base at that point. What the hell? I'm not going to put any more at risk. All right, here we go, coming out. 7. And we got a 6. All right, so we got a new shooter. New shooter's on the 6. We're going out for 1 unit on the DC. Got a 5, fever. All right, so DC is going to move behind the 5 for 1 unit, and now we're looking for big red. Nope, we got a 5. All right, so that's 1 loss on this shooter. And now we're going to go to level 2, which is 3 units on the DC. Here we go. And we got a 628. All right, so now we're behind the 8. 1 loss on this shooter. And we got a 9. And we got a 6-point hit. All right, so shooter is coming out again. Same shooter coming out again. And they got a 213. Still coming out. 10. All right, down on the end. Same shooter on the 10. We got 1 loss against this shooter. And we got an 8. So now we got 2 losses against this shooter. So now we're going to go to level 4, which is $50 on the DC, and that's our profit right there. And we got a 9. All right, so DC is going to move behind the 9. 2 units, boy. Gets you up fast and takes you down fast. 325. 437 out. All right. So we're off the 10 and we got a new shooter. That's going to come down and get paid. So we're 100 bucks, right? We were at 90, so now we're up to 100. So that's a new session high. Back to base, yeah. Yeah, I think that's close to an hour. I think I'm going to call it. Yeah, hour and 3 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and call it there. So that was fun. We did 250 the first session, and now we got 100 on this session. So I don't know how many hours that would be at a real table, but it's got some teeth. Maybe we want to do a 30 roll session on this one, 30 roll series on this one, and see how we does. But I did not expect that. I really didn't. But with that 2-step, it goes up fast and comes down fast. You know, you just got to manage your bankroll as you go up, as it's coming down. You know, once you're back in session profit, just stick with it. All right, we got 100, 500 plus the 4. All right, I think that's going to do it for today. That was definitely an interesting one. I don't know, Waylon, if you have a name for that one. I'm sure you do because you have a name for everything. But that was fun. Stop loss is more the key. Yeah, thank you, Anthony. Yeah, right. Yeah, he's just laddering up and down by 2 units. Thank you, IPTV. So I don't know if $1,000 is enough for this, but we're starting with a base unit of 10, although it escalates pretty quickly. So I'm thinking 1,000 is probably not quite enough. But obviously here, 2 sessions, you know, $350 profit. It's pretty good. Dr. S, there you go. Yeah. The Dr. S two-step. I call it the Lakeland two-step because he lives in Lakeland. The Dr. S Lakeland two-step. But I don't know if he plays it on a DC. This was IPTV's brainchild, I think. All right, guys. Thank you very much. This is Scott from Paradise Craps. Thanks for stopping by. And come back tomorrow. Same craps time, same craps channel. We'll do it again. All right. Take care, everybody. Have a great rest of your, what's today? Wednesday. All right. Later.